Hello, everyone. This is Juliana with Light Up Charlotte podcast, and welcome to another episode. And this one is going to be something really fun. I know you will probably have heard about this topic for a million times. It's about dating, but I can assure you this one is going to be nothing like any other. With my friend Sarah, we will be talking to you about how we have been dating our husbands for a long time. And we're going to give you tips and tricks and how we feel at this time and at these years of lives. It's really hard for people to date. So you really need to listen to this one and stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Light Up Charlotte, a space for stories that matter, businesses that inspire, and a community that shines together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Light Up Charlotte. And today we are talking about something different, because why not? We know we all are entrepreneurs and we own businesses, but at the same time, we're also human and we date. So today with my friend Sarah again, we're going to be talking about dating.
Which we haven't done in a while.
Hello. Isn't that funny? I'm like, we're going to be talking about dating and how long you've been married.
10 years.
And then,
So haven't dated for a while.
but 10 years. And how long do you date your husband?
We dated for 6 months before we got married.
Oh, girl. Okay.
But I did date a lot before my
Yes.
husband.
But it's been like a long time though.
A
And
decade of
Then I've been married 18 years, and then we dated for 2. So in 20 years, I haven't been doing any type of dating. So,
But we've seen our friends do dating.
but we just decided to do this dating
Yeah.
podcast. Why not, right?
not?
We're experts.
We can be experts
Kind
on
of.
something we haven't done for the last decade, 2 decades.
So do you feel dating it has become a lot more complicated?
I
These
feel
over the years?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Technology, I think, has added a whole level. I think working at home, a lot of people work at home, so they don't have the opportunity to meet people like they did. I think I got my parents dating in the 80s and like going out to bars, having coworkers, maybe being more trusting of people, because now we see all of the crazy things that happen and maybe the fakeness that dating can be. Technology, friendships, like a lot of opinions and stories that we hear constantly make us feel like less trusting, and also like our standards are higher.
So higher.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if standards is the right word, but like expectations. Yes.
expectations.
Yeah.
And talking to expectations, I feel with social media, that's something that I feel it has become one of the biggest turn downs on dating, just because we're always and constantly comparing
Yeah.
to other people. And even if we're both been married for a long period of time, being married is dating
Yeah.
over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's not like I just marry my husband and I'm just like, oh, that's it.
We're
just
stuck together.
like we're stuck together and I don't care. No, like being married, it's also a compromise with your husband or your wife.
Yeah.
And you have to continue dating. And that, I mean, even every time I go to real psychologists and people always tells you, do you want your marriage to last longer? Then you have to date and take time aside
Yeah.
to the two of you to continue nurturing
Yeah.
that relationship. Because otherwise it's not like, okay, let's sign a paper and see you later.
Like
Bye,
we're
bye.
yes.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah.
So I feel because we're still constantly in a dating forever.
Just
Kind
one
of.
person.
Yes.
Yeah.
You still feel with social media, or I don't know about you, but I do feel it, like comparing myself with others and
Yeah.
feeling if I'm still enough for someone.
Yeah.
Especially, it's been 20 years. I started dating my husband when I was 16. So imagine just that, from 16 to almost 40, it's a long journey.
And you've changed so like a lot.
Yes.
They say, I think there is a statistic that says when you get married, you'll be married to like 7 different people because of how much you change in a lifetime. And so you are always changing and having to like relearn each other, likes and dislikes.
Yes.
You
I
know.
feel we've grown up. It's like, I told him, pretty much you finish raising me. You're now, I've been more with you than I was with my own parents, you know? But anyways, I feel it is really hard for people to date. And I also feel it's harder for people to commit at an earlier age than it was before. How do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, I got married at 22. So I was young in the world 10 years ago, but now I feel like it's even older. They're working on their careers, school, like their own passions. And I think as a young 22-year-old, I wouldn't say my standards were lower, but I expected less out of somebody than, say, my friends who are now dating in their 30s, who want someone with a career. Maybe they own a house, they have money in savings. As you know, like an 18-year-old when you got married, you were like just babies, just starting life and just like, we're on this journey together. But when you've lived by yourself or adult life without a partner for 10 years into your 30s, 15 years, you like what you like. You have your group of friends, you have your schedule, your routine. And so to add someone else into that seems really challenging. So your expectations of them seem like they have to be higher, and you have to compromise more than when you're a young, in love, like little kid. Like when you're 20, you're still like figuring out yourself. So you have someone else to figure that out with. But when you're in your 30s, you're more confident than you are in what you like. So there's more icks for other people, I feel like. Yeah. Like you see one little thing and you're like, no, didn't like that. Not necessarily looks, but personality, their home, how they treat people. You know, they might have a Velcro wallet.
It's less patient in relationships. Like, I feel before it was more of, okay, well, it's okay. You know, like you can pass more things.
Yeah.
As the dating is going, than in today's world, people are like, he did that and I hate it and peace out, like bye-bye. To be more like, okay, well, this is something that I don't like about him. But, you know, you don't know, people don't have the patience to see the potential of that person. Yeah, this person may not be doing this that you really are looking for, but what are the other things on this person that
are good qualities?
That made you like him or made you like her?
Well, I think when you're 20, you see there's a lot more potential because you grow so much in your 20s. But when you're in your 30s, you're like, I think that's a quality that's going to stick. So then you're less likely to put up with it because you're like, we're already in our 30s and you're still like acting like that or saying things like that, pulling out your Velcro wallet and paying for dinner, you know? So you're like, it's like, you can buy him a new wallet. It's going to be fine. That's like, you know, it's like one little thing. People are like, no, that's not it. And it's like, okay, but there's some things that can be easily fixed. And so
like you feel it with your parents at 35?
No, like they still pay for your stuff, and like that's kind of weird.
Yes. And I also feel even it's a lot harder for people that have children or are divorced
Yeah.
or redating in like right now. As the same with people that don't have children or don't have like or haven't been married before. It's a lot harder because then if your expectations are like here, like really high already,
Yeah.
then imagine putting children on top of that is just like
It's a lot.
just too high. That's what I feel.
I just think about the fact of having trying to find someone to date, like dating apps, people setting you up with people. It just seems so exhausting. And I can see why a lot of people are just like not patient and just like, nah, I didn't like that one thing. And just being like real people. There's just, like you said, because of social media, we have like unrealistic expectations of what a partner should be like. And we want the best qualities of all the things. And you're not going to find someone, like we were talking about earlier before, like you're not going to find someone who's a hard worker and works really hard all the time, but also is 100% a family man, is going to be home all the time and like spend all the quality time with your family. You're not going to find someone who's tough and masculine, but also all the time
Emotional.
soft, emotionally available. And I think because of media, we think, oh, I need someone who checks all these boxes and is the best at all these things that also are like opposites. Like a family man, a hard worker. Fit, also doesn't go to the gym all the time and spends time with me. Cares about this, but not too much about that. Like, it's just hard expectations we have.
I feel that you touch base into something really important because back in the day when we were dating, there was not social media. There was nothing that we were able to compare our relationships with, but only to the people that we actually had interaction
around us, our actual village of people. Yeah.
But now we're just scrolling through social media and then we're seeing, oh, look at this guy and he's videotaping a surprise for his wife and you never bring me anything.
Yeah.
Or it's just the expectations are getting like they're fake expectations.
They're so unrealistic.
Because probably these people are doing these because they're getting paid for.
Yeah.
Or for the views because they're influencers. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Or maybe because they're actually real. I mean, and they really want to do it. But I don't really see my husband putting up with a video and posting it on social media.
Yeah.
Just because, like.
It's like the guys, you're like, I made my wife a home gym. In 2 days, you're like, what?
Yes. And you're like, listen, you see these? Like,
should you be making me a home gym?
He built like his wife a gym and you're in the house the whole weekend just watching TV or football or whatever. No, he's kidding. And what are you doing with your free time?
Or like I saw one recently where this couple got married in like on a boat in Italy and it was fireworks and I was just like, is this real life for people? What a like wild thing to, if that's beautiful. I'm sure people have had weddings like that for a long time, but it being in our faces all the time, it does make you like think you deserve or expect unrealistic things.
Yes.
Like I feel like when I was dating, I had a list in my mind, but it wasn't like a long laundry list of all the things I need to find in a person. It was just like kind to me and other people, like works hard, is thoughtful. It wasn't like loves this, makes this money, can do this, can do that, is fit, is cooks, like, just like a list of 30 things. And if one thing goes awry, then you don't want to put up with it anymore. You'd rather just move on and try something new.
So my daughter, she's 17.
I was going to say, you're not dating, but
I'm not dating.
You see it now.
But I can see it through my daughter now.
Yeah.
And it's hard, because here it is someone that you are seeing, you see your children's grow, and then you kind of when they become teenagers, you kind of still want them to choose, you still want to choose from them for them.
Yeah.
And and you cannot do that, especially when they're dating.
Yeah.
But all I told my daughter was that she needs to find someone who makes her laugh from the very beginning, like that is very compatible with her culture, with the things that she likes to do in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as people change, and I know sometimes when we start dating someone that we really like, some people think you can change that person.
Yeah.
But in reality, I feel you cannot. There are things you can absolutely give up because of the person. Like, let's say I hate the mountains or I hate the cold, and then I found someone that loves skiing and loves like the
camping, outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, but I'm not gonna love that. I don't love it, but I'm willing to do it because I love this person.
Yeah.
But it's nothing about my personality and integrity that I have to change.
Mm-hmm. You have to compromise.
Exactly. To make this person happy, because I know he loves this and it's important for him or for her too. And then I'm just gonna do it. Compared to, I just don't like, I don't know, that she's loud and he's always or doing these things. Like, can you be quiet? Like, I don't like a loud person. Like, okay, I can be quiet, but that's not me.
Like dimming someone's light.
Yes,
yeah.
But I love you and everything else is good, but you're just always too loud, or you're just too quiet. Can you be more extrovert?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you, why are you so shy all the time? Those kind of things I feel are our personalities within ourselves that we should not give up for someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's us. That's our own personality. That's what makes the person inside of us. And if someone is just telling you not to be yourself, are you really gonna be happy at the end?
In that situation, I feel like, how can you like me so much if you don't like such a big part of who I am? Like,
yes.
Being loud, being honest, vocal about my opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big part of me. So maybe you just like the idea. Sometimes I think we just like the idea of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we actually experience it, we're like, oh, I actually don't like that very much. Because probably of the people that influence us, the things we see on social media, the people around us, they convince us that we should like something. And then when we're actually doing it or around someone like that, we're like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also feel when people start dating, it's just like when you're buying, I don't know if this has happened to you before, but this happens to me all the time. Let's say I'm going to buy a new car, or we're going to change the roof of our house. And then we start seeing all the roofs, all the houses all of the sudden, or we want a particular car, and then all of the sudden we start seeing
everyone has the same
everywhere. And we're like, I've never seen this car before, but now I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's because your mind is just
hyper focused on whatever it is. Yeah.
And then I feel the same way when you're dating. If you're constantly just pointing the bad things of that person, then you're just gonna be seeing everything bad in that person.
Yeah.
But if you're pointing out the good qualities of that person and you're always just realizing, oh no, this person is this and that, then that's what your mind is going to amplify.
Which I think that's how you make a marriage last a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're around them all the time, you're going to see the annoying little things more. After 10 years, 20 years, you're like, why do you always do that? But if you focus on those things, it's going to tear not just that person down, but also your relationship in general. But if you're focusing on the good qualities, the things that they do for you, the way they serve you, the way they treat other people, whatever that quality is going to push you through the hard times too, because you're going to have hard times when you're dating, when you're married, that you need to focus on the good things that will bring you back up, you know, out of the valley of the hard times.
That is true. So do you have a funny story about any friends? Because we haven't been dating for a lot of years.
Okay.
Is there anything
Funny
that you can
stories.
share through a friend that told you that is single, that is in the dating process and something went wrong?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I had a friend.
Okay.
She met this guy on a dating app.
Okay.
And he seemed nice. So they went out just for ice cream because she was like, do I want to commit a lot of time to this date?
Okay.
So they go out to ice cream and then he says, do you want to come over afterwards and hang out at my house? She's like, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So they go over after and he lived in his parents' basement.
Okay.
So
Red
she
flag.
she was like, okay, like they were probably 24, 25. So not like crazy to live in your parents' basement, but also like you graduated from college at this point. So, and he starts talking about Lord of the Rings and she got roped into watching every episode of Lord of the Rings.
But those are long. Those are like 3 hours.
Like 10 hours of Lord of the Rings. And she's like, I just sat there and the entire time he just commentated the entire, like, over-explained everything happening in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Because he was so obsessed with Lord of the Rings.
Well, maybe someone out there is as passionate for Lord of the Rings.
Maybe.
He can find
someone who will
even dress up
of
one like
live role play with
who knows.
So I was like, I'm so glad I'm not dating.
Wow.
Because it sounds like a terrible experience.
So I was watching Love in the Spectrum.
Oh yeah.
Have you watched
I like that show, yeah.
I absolutely love it. You know, like I just love how I just wish everybody was just that easy.
Yeah.
You know, like
the simplicity
of how they say things and do things, even though they're on the spectrum. It just makes them.
It's like very pure. Like
yes. It's very pure and sincere, and I just love seeing them go through that because they just feel they really want that feeling for them.
Yeah.
But it's like 10,000 times more. I don't know how to explain it. Like I was watching Connor, have you watched the latest one?
Yeah.
And then he had his first kiss and he was shaking. He couldn't feel his legs and he's like, oh my gosh, like she is a goddess. And it reminded me about the Lord of the Rings because he was into swords too and all of that. But he just felt this love from her since the first day. And for him, she was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't even stop talking about
all the things he loved already.
Yes. All the things he loved about her. And it was just so so sincere and pure that I'm like, I don't think there is nobody right now that
I don't think so.
like they're just like meh.
It just seems like my friends who go on dates now, it's like they have to prove something.
They have to prove themselves
Yeah.
into I'm really
Like,
the best.
This
I'm
is
really
my
the best
career.
option.
This is my cool hobbies. This is how I, like, when I watch a show like Love is Blind or The Bachelor,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, I work out 3 hours a day. I'm like, can you guys all stop talking about working out? Like, that's like their like personality is, I go to the gym. Like,
Yeah.
that's, we can tell you go to the gym. Is there like other things about you? So yeah, I think it's everyone just trying to like one up other people to feel like they have to prove that they're good enough to someone else. But then with filters and media and all the things, it just seems too hard. So I can see why a lot of people just, a lot of my friends now in the 30s, my female friends, they're just happy not dating.
Not to be dating?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like, I'm good with who I am. I'm happy with my life. And so unless some guy comes along.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the less you try to look for someone,
Yeah.
it comes to you. The harder you try to really be with someone, I think the harder it is for you to find.
If you're just like content in your life and working
Yeah.
on yourself.
But yes,
Yeah.
if you just focus your life into be better with your own, then destiny will eventually make you. I mean, of course, it's not like I know I'm gonna find the right person
And then sit in your house all the time.
sitting in my house and being better with myself. Of course, I mean, no, you're not gonna find nobody, but if you work on yourself, if you like learn new skills, maybe go to, I don't know, like something,
Join a club
or
like start a new hobby or
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Which I think it's like that in every aspect of life. If you're working on yourself and trying to be better, like the universe will bring like beautiful things into your life.
Yes.
Whether that's a guy or a good friendship or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm. So just to finalize our super dating podcast, what advice will you give your friends?
On what we just talked about.
But I mean, what advice will you give them?
A red flag is a red flag, so run away. Just kidding. You can't change people.
Like, I don't know. Or words of encouragement, if there is not advice, or yeah.
Okay, when I was dating, I usually always said yes to a date because I thought, why not? Like, what's the harm of a date? If it doesn't go good, it doesn't go good.
Okay.
That's fine.
I like that.
So I think putting yourself out there, like what you said, like you can't just sit at home or stay in your routine and think someone's going to cross your path. You have to try something new, get out, try a new hobby, talk to people. I think that's a hard thing that people have a problem with now that challenges people is to just talk to random people at the gym, at a restaurant. Like when my parents were dating, they would buy someone a drink. They would walk up to somebody in the 80s and say, hey, I really like you, look really pretty. Can I get you a drink? Can I talk with you? I think people kind of get stuck in their
But it's because
bubble.
I think right now, if you do that, you're like, you're weird.
That's what,
You know, like,
so sad.
You're like, what are you doing? Like,
Because you think of people on love spectrum. What I can't think of what
Love
it's
in the
called.
spectrum.
Yeah. And they are just, if they think something, they say, oh, you
Yes.
look really pretty. I like your hair.
Mm-hmm.
But if people do that, then people think, why are you talking to me? Like, I don't know you. And I think that's a really unfortunate thing about our culture is that just giving someone a compliment or talking to a random person in the waiting room or at a restaurant is weird now. And I'm like, it makes me sad because I think that's what connects us and keeps us like human.
But why is it different now that we feel less connected when someone approaches us in real life and tell us, oh, you're beautiful. But if someone sends us a message through social media, we're like,
But are we? Are we like, you're weird?
no, I think it will. We feel different because we may have in our hands the life of that person to judge if that person is weird or not to us
based off of what
like
we curated and put on the internet.
Oh, this person said to me I'm beautiful, and then you can go to the Instagram to see who is this person.
You're like, this guy's weird, or
you can judge. You can be like, this person is kind of funny, or you can say, oh, well, thank you for the compliment, compared to when someone
random
tells you like, can I see your Instagram, please?
So I can tell if you're crazy or
yes, can I just see what you like to just make sure you're not crazy
a weirdo who's gonna make you watch Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Or you just want to kidnap me after just talking to me and I follow my car. I don't know. So I feel it's different.
It's because of social media.
It's because of social media.
Yeah.
I think social media
has altered
a lot of
every relationship and
dating
thing in our life.
Mm-hmm. So you gave your advice, and then to me, my advice for someone who is dating will be meeting his or her parents and the relationship. Well, especially for a boy, I think it's really important. I don't know.
To see the boy's parents.
To see the relationship that person has. Well, it cannot apply to a lot of people, because I know a lot of people has a toxic relationship with their parents. It really depends.
Yeah.
But I feel if that person has a really good connection with his or her parents, seeing that relationship with them will really tell you a lot about that person.
Yeah.
So
did you feel like that with your husband?
Yes.
It taught you?
Yes.
A lot, seeing his parents?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I can see it with my daughter. And I can see it with a lot of people that date and their relationship. Because, you have to think that at the end, if you're willing to be with that person, get married to that person, you're eventually gonna be married to their family as well.
Yeah.
There is not gonna be, it's not gonna be like this person is getting disconnected from their family.
Yeah,
so
you do marry their family.
The relationship that they have and how they treat their mom, how they treat their parents, I feel says a lot.
It's a good indicator of how they're going to be in a marriage and what's important to them.
And I can tell you, because of my last relationships, when I dated, I know I was young, but I dated before, and how that people treated their mom or dad.
Yeah.
And it was not a good relationship, So red flag, people.
It is, be nice to your parents.
Be nice with your parents. I mean, be real nice with your parents, not fake nice with your parents. But yeah, that's what I will say.
Love it.
So thank you, everybody, for listening to our dating advices, even though we may not be pros into dating right now, but hopefully you got good advices. And subscribe, comment what you thought about this episode, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Light Up Charlotte, where we keep the spotlight on real stories. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram to keep the inspiration going. Until next time, stay lit, Charlotte.